everyone, Pam Gregory, astrologer. I'm going to be talking to you today about the second half of November and the new moon that we have coming up in Scorpio on the 18th. Now, we're going to be diving deep into the energy during this second half of the month. There's quite an emphasis in Scorpio. Venus and Jupiter are there, but also we have this new moon also in Scorpio coming up, as I say, on the 18th, and I'll talk more about that in a moment. But there's a kind of magical creative energy through this second half. We have a beautiful conjunction between Venus and Jupiter. That happens at 7 of Scorpio. It's on the 13th of the month, and this is extremely creative. It has a feeling of success and abundance. So see where 7 of Scorpio is falling in your chart, which area of life that represents for you, and really focus on what may be coming to you round about the 13th. Soon after that, on the 16th, Venus then trines Neptune. I think of Neptune as a fifth-dimensional planet. There's something very ethereal and fine in its perception. So again, this emphasizes creativity, beauty, imagination, a fine perception, really exquisite for anything creative. And indeed, on the same day, we have the Sun, which is trining Chiron exactly at 24 of Scorpio and Pisces. So the combination of all of these, there's a feeling of heightened perception, the creativity, as I've mentioned, intuition also being heightened, but a feeling of surrendering to the divine, and that healing can happen if we surrender to the divine. It's a magical energy happening in the middle of the month. And adding to that, very importantly, we have a beautiful trine starting to be formed between Jupiter and Neptune. Neptune's 11 of Pisces. Jupiter is just coming up through 8, 9, 10 of Scorpio and will hold that trine pretty much up until September next year. Now, Jupiter expands anything it touches. So again, we're back to this Neptunian vibration. There's something mystical and miraculous about it. It's connected very much to healing. Both the signs of Scorpio and Pisces are connected to healing. Virgo is too, but we're focusing here on Scorpio and Pisces. And there could be new modalities of healing being discovered, particularly energy and vibrational medicine will come much more to the fore over the next year. So it's just an energy of releasing, of connecting to the divine, of connecting to unconditional love. And what this allows us to do, and remember this Jupiter-Neptune trine will run, as I say, until September next year, it enables us to shift to our highest level of being, to envisage our highest level of being, to create an energetic hologram and just step into that. I've written quite a lot about this in my new book, How to Co-Create Using the Secret Language of the Universe. And this is how we can use astrology. Astrology is an astounding language, not only of interconnectedness, but of co-creation. How if we understand the energy of the aspects that are happening and how they affect our chart, we can literally start to consciously co-create our lives. We can see where these aspects are falling, and we can use them to create the best that we can be, the best life that we can have. It's a spiritual language, a language of spiritual evolution, but it's also a highly practical language, astrology. I think it just gives so many wonderful gifts to us. So be aware of all of those magical opportunities, mystical opportunities coming in for you. So very good time to meditate around the middle of the month when those beautiful first 3 aspects are happening. Then on the 18th of the month, we have the new moon at 26 degrees 19 minutes of Scorpio. This happens at 3:45 a.m. Pacific and 3:42 a.m. Pacific and 11:42 a.m. UK time. Now, Scorpio is tremendously deep. It's the deepest sign in the zodiac. It's about transformation. It's about regeneration. But in order for that transformation and regeneration to happen, We have to dig down to the depths to release anything which is stuck or repressed. Scorpio is the sign where most commonly emotional energy can get stuck or repressed for many years, for a long time. And there can be a kind of grasping to what you know, grasping to what is, because it's reluctant, Scorpio energy, sometimes to open up and let go. But that's what's being called for right now, because not only do we have the sun and the moon, which are always together at a new moon, we have Venus, we have Jupiter, both giving us wonderful, expansive opportunities for personal growth. But also, very interestingly, at the new moon in Libra, on the 19th of October, we had the sun and the moon being directly, exactly opposed by Uranus. In this new moon, Scorpio, we now have Uranus within 1 degree of aspecting the sun and the moon. It's a quincunx. So Uranus demands that stuck patterns are broken up. It breaks up stagnation. It demands that the new can come in. So it gives us a wonderful opportunity to refresh whichever area Uranus is falling in. It's currently at 25 degrees of Aries, so see where that falls in the chart. Where are you stuck in that area of life? Is it in your friendships of the 11th house, 25 of Aries? Is it in your 6th house of health? Is there something where you really got to break up the way you are handling your health, your diet, your nutrition? See where it's falling. This can give you so much insight. So an opportunity, really a demand for newness and new ways of being coming in at this new moon with Uranus. And a new moon is always a new beginning, as I always say. So again, see where 26 of Scorpio falls in your chart and anticipate what that's going to be about, because in doing that, we start to magnetize our future towards us. We can visualize, we can plan, we can focus very precisely in our meditations and also ask questions of our dreams of what we want that new beginning to represent. That is a true form of conscious co-creation. And it's a really exciting journey as well, rather than just listening to me telling you what this is going to be about this time. It's much more useful if you work with your own unique birth chart and go on that journey of self-discovery and co-creation yourself. It's just doesn't get any better. So in addition to that, we've also got new opportunities potentially coming in with Venus conjunct Jupiter, which I've just talked about on the 13th. But also we have Saturn at the galactic centre. It's moving between 26 and 27 degrees of Sagittarius in the second half of November, and that is exactly on the galactic centre. Now, the galactic centre is a huge, well, it's the centre of many galaxies. And there's tremendous gravitational force, tremendous amounts of cosmic radiation, but also information. Many consider this to be our energetic source, our informational source. So at times when planets become aligned with the galactic centre, those are often times when we can get downloads of information from a very high source. Ask questions of your dreams, as I often say. So be very aware in this second half, what can you pull in from that very high information source that is offering you information in your best interests. Really wonderful. Also at this new moon, we have some slightly challenging energy in that we have Mars at 16 of Libra, tightly square to Pluto at 17 of Capricorn. So this is a Mars-Pluto square. Mars and Pluto are both about assertion and even aggression at times, willpower, assertions of will and strength. And so we may see this in our leaders round about the new moon, but I'd be very aware if you're in any situations which are becoming strongly assertive to take a breath and step back. What would your highest self do in this situation? What's the best possible, most loving way you can react? Don't just jump in, because Mars can be quite impetuous. I say that also because this aspect is exact on the 18th and 19th of the month. On the 19th of the month, the moon is exactly square to Neptune at 11 degrees of Sagittarius, Pisces. Now, this can be highly intuitive and highly imaginative, but sometimes the downside of Neptune is things aren't as they seem. So we may be jumping in assertively too quickly into a situation where we're not seeing the whole picture, where there's a bit of fogginess or confusion. And that's equally true for our leaders too. So I would just caution you to step back, to have perspective, to be mindful round about this new moon as well. Then on the 22nd of the month, Neptune becomes stationary direct. Now, whenever a planet becomes stationary, its symbolism is magnified for a few days either side of that date. So a few days either side of the 22nd. So again, we're back to this beautiful, mystical, unconditional love. We're back to miracles. We're back to healing. We're back to the mystical. So we shall see how this manifests, but this is a really wonderful time to meditate and be in nature, listen to music, create, paint, etc. So, and from that point on, this is very, very positive. From that point on, we have Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Neptune and Pluto all moving direct. So this is super helpful for any kind of project, work that we're doing, that things are going to be moving ahead in an energetic, positive way. And really use this window of opportunity well, because on the 3rd of December, Mercury goes retrograde. So really go with this and see if you can advance any work project that you're currently focused on. So a lot happening in this second half of November that is very rich and very beautiful for our creativity and our spiritual evolution. And there's a wonderful quote from Deepak Chopra, which I think is absolutely right for this energy, which is, every time you're tempted to react in the same old way, ask if you are a prisoner of the past or a pioneer of the future. I think that's really beautiful and very inspiring for us. So really do start to think of astrology not as a language of fatedness, not as a language of planets doing things to you, but you using that energy, blending it with your own unique birth chart and seeing how you can start to take charge to co-create in your life in a very powerful way. And that's really one of the main themes of my new book, How to Co-Create Using the Secret Language of the Universe. There's a lot in there based on that theme, particularly focused on the nodal axis, which really, for each of us in our birth charts, answers the question, what's my purpose in this life? And people are really loving this journey. It's taking them on quite a deep journey of introspection. We have a very active, buzzing forum on Facebook for readers of the book and also those who've seen the video companion series about the nodes as well. So if you're interested in that, really encourage you to buy it from my website or go onto Amazon where you get it direct as well. So wonderful to share this with you, and have a wonderful new moon in Scorpio on the 18th of November. Thanks so much for listening.